baby beard.
Waited for you, Fry.
This episode traumatized me as a young person.
My head is hurting again.
Where's my firstborn son?
God does not care about me masturbating.
Your singing is bad and you should feel bad. First get out into the bus, so you're like, oh no!
Yeah, I don't like myself becoming the protagonist of this podcast.
You've been in
because you haven't learned anything.
Shut
up and take my
podcast.
Seamless.
I thought I was doing it.
No, that was last week.
Oh.
Yeah.
But are not
Shit.
all recordings timeless in their own way? Don't they all kind of converge into this liminal space between your ears?
I just figured because it was Ellen's birthday, we were going to let her do it herself. It's like a
fucking birthday.
That's your birthday?
No.
happy birthday, Ellen.
Happy birthday to Ellen.
Hey. Oh,
Hey.
wait.
Where's my cake?
What day is it today?
What day is today? It's Ellen's birthday.
What a day for a birthday.
Now let's all eat some cake.
And you smell like one too.
I just smell like one too.
We remember all the musical stings here on Shut Up and Take My Podcast, the Australian Futurama podcast that for the last 3 years and coming towards the end, we have pitted episode against episode in a bloody glorious gauntlet battle for all your entertainments. And as always, while I stole for time to try and figure out my little quote, I am joined here by Ellen.
Sorry, guys, I can't be on the podcast. Something's come up. It's vomit.
I am joined here by Phil.
Let's go somewhere well ventilated and chat.
I'm joined here by Sexy Chris.
Brave and frugal.
And we're joined by Sean.
I'm having a cute little heart attack.
As long as it's cute.
How is everyone, by the way? How are we all doing in these? To peel back the curtain, I had to try and work this out. So we're recording this on the 23rd of March, and I believe this will come out May sometime.
2 months from now, I think.
Yeah, 2 months from now. So
Wow.
as a little timestamp, how are you all feeling today?
Well, I'm
I
very...
feel so sorry for all people who are listening to this now.
Why? For
Sorry,
listening
I
to
interrupted you.
No, for listening to this quality episode. Why should you be sorry
Yeah,
for
that's
them?
right.
About smell.
Well, this will be their solace as society collapses around them.
Nice. Yeah. You could have something.
Yeah.
I'm very depressed.
Which is rife for comedy.
Because I was meant to be in New Zealand today.
Oh,
dear.
yes.
And I had to,
Oh,
it's
nice.
cancelled.
Yeah.
And I was meant to see my favourite band, My Chemical Romance. Shout out if you guys are listening.
Hey, shout out to My Chemical Romance. We know you're listening. Big fans of the show.
Gerard Way and the other ones.
Instead, we got My Biological Romance.
Oh.
My biological plutonic.
Shouldn't it be your biological romance?
there it is.
Your biological, what's the opposite of romance?
Social distancing.
Social distancing.
Your, what is it? Biological social distancing.
Which is what we recommend to everyone. Biologically social distance yourselves.
Which
Wonderful.
is ironically the name of our Baby Beard band once this podcast is wrapped up. So
We're coming for you, boys.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're going to take them down.
So speaking of the podcast that we're doing, we are up to season 7, episode 25, which is Stench and Stenchibility.
Well, I wanted to know.
What did you want to know, Phil?
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know how Chris was doing.
We skipped past that.
I'm very comfortable being socially isolated.
Yeah.
I did it for nearly 2 years.
You're
so
prepared.
I'm very comfortable with like putting myself in a room and pretending I don't exist and ignoring the outside world and living online. So I'm comfortable.
You're like, great.
What about you,
You're
Phil?
like, I was doing that already.
Yeah. What about you, Phil?
I'm just quietly terrified.
Of course.
As long as you're quiet about it.
Don't be quiet. Loud and proud.
Sort of loud. I'm terrified. I've sort of been following the situation since January. Since when China was like, yeah, we're probably cancelling New Year's. It was like, that doesn't sound very good.
The year's not starting,
and it's
boys.
continued to get. It's continued to get worse, as I terrifyingly predicted it would. Yes, so I'm glad to be joining my friends in a night of banterous comedy and TV.
Oh, that's nice. There's no Easter this year either, guys. The Vatican declared it. Jesus stays dead this year.
Well, I take all my news from the Vatican.
Don't worry about rolling back that
serious.
tomb, boys. It's
Hey, wait, didn't the clocks also go back as well today? Am I wrong on that?
oh, fuck.
Yeah, they
just-
did.
Things are happening.
Yeah.
I don't understand
Oh.
them. What I do understand is
God.
Futurama.
Do you understand the reasoning behind why it's called Stench and Stenchibility?
Sense and Sensibility?
Has anyone read that book, by the way?
No.
No,
I haven't, no.
Ooh.
Oh, well,
Sorry, guys, we're not that cultured.
we've only had 219 years to read it.
100 and I don't care.
190.
109 years.
Yeah.
209 years.
I'll get round to it. In
It's
another
been there-
200
it's
years.
been there for 200 years. It's not going anywhere.
So, and neither are we for the next 3 months.
Hey, good point.
I've actually started reading again, which is
Hey.
nice.
You've started reading again.
I have.
What are you reading?
I am reading.
Oh, that's awesome.
You asked me this last night and then laughed at the name of the book I was reading.
That does sound like me.
I'm reading Eisenhorn from the Warhammer.
It's still good.
I'm reading the Jack Reacher series.
Who's that?
That's Jack Reacher.
I'm reading.
What are you reading, Phil?
I'm reading the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit,
Ooh.
which counts
yeah.
as reading.
it counts.
They are
It doesn't
definitely
count.
words.
But what
there.
are we watching?
Well, we're watching Stench and Stenchibility.
Yay!
Which was directed by friend of the podcast, Crystal Chesney Thompson.
Yay.
Love you, Chris.
And
Hi, Crystal.
Thank you for the
You're a big
Haminal, by
fan.
the way.
Shout out.
I fucking love it. It's on my little bedside table. I'm
you take
keeping
a-
it safe.
You take a photo of it?
Yeah, I took a photo of it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice little pig in a can, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, pig in
It's
a can.
It's a Haminal.
Yeah.
Hamster, pig, other animals.
And the writer for this episode is enemy of the podcast, Eric Horsted,
Remind me why he's our enemy?
because he hasn't been on the show.
That's right.
Yeah, so
You're declared an enemy until you're our friend.
That makes a lot.
Yeah, we have a lot of enemies, Phil. I don't know if you're
Makes
across
most of the
this.
world population our enemies.
that's how you make it up in the podcasting world. You gotta just make everyone your enemy.
Why did I go into business with you?
Get everyone on your show.
There you go.
There we go.
What would be nice is to get the special guest for the episode onto the show, because Amelia Clark was the voice of Zoidberg's betrothed, Zoidberg's beloved.
Emily Clark.
Marianne.
Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark.
Fucking
Yeah.
Daenerys
Daenerys.
Targaryen.
Yeah, that was her.
Marianne.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, she's attracted to lobster lizard creatures.
I thought it was I thought it was someone else entirely. I thought it was this other British actress that I couldn't quite put my finger on. That's nuts.
Yeah, well, she was, I believe, if I remember right, she was dating Seth MacFarlane at the time.
Ugh. Sorry, I didn't mean to gag in my mouth there, but
Something has come up. It is vomit.
oh god, I'm sorry. So sorry, everyone. I just had a,
He might be very nice in person.
I'm
you
sure
don't know.
he is. I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
We at Baby Beard do not condone Ellen's vomit-inducing reaction to Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
But one thing we do endorse
Yeah.
is the Phil patented plot rundown, which you will hear after these messages right now.
I thought there were going to be messages. I needed time to prepare.
Oh, Chris can insert
I'll do
that.
some messages right now. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Baby Beard Media. Did you know that we have a Patreon? We also have another role-playing podcast called Roll to Cast. It's a role-playing podcast where we had a season of Cyberpunk 2020 and a podcast season of Vampire the Masquerade. It's on right now. We also have a Let's Play series on YouTube. Go to Baby Beard Media on YouTube. Bye. How's that?
That's perfect.
That was efficient.
Yeah, really good.
Thank you.
Wow.
and informative.
Yeah.
I've taken up
Excellent.
sugar again.
Oh, right. That's right. We actually should have a timestamp
Well,
of when I said that you were off sugar, so we should be able to work it out.
I listened to the most recent episode where I was off sugar and I sound awful. So I'm like, fuck it.
So for the good of the podcast, you're back on your
That's
sugar.
right.
He's
That's
done
right.
this all for you,
For
listeners.
you, listener. I'm killing my body for you. It's your problem, not mine.
Chris, much like China, much like China did, you've bought me some time, and much like the rest of the world, I've wasted all of it. So here is my ropey rundown of the plot. There's actually two plots, is the first thing to notice, and they're completely unrelated to each other. The main plot is Zoidberg gets a girlfriend because she has no sense of smell. So his biggest flaw between him and the rest of his relationships is removed from the equation. But he finds out that there is a way that, how does he phrase it? We doctors have a thing called a nose transplant. I could do you a surgery and you could smell again.
To be fair, that's how I
explains
phrase
it in the best way. And he believes that if he gives her the nose transplant, she will be repulsed by his awful stench. And everyone agrees with him, except that she doesn't. She doesn't know what a bad smell is. And so they go off together in a dump truck, happily ever after. Meanwhile, Bender is really mean and wants to be good at tap dancing. And that is basically the other plot, which I think I personally, if I'm going to inject a bit of commentary at this point, I thought was really, really lame and average.
Do you know what's in reference to?
I don't actually.
It's the 1994 ice skating.
Tonya Harding.
Tonya Harding.
Thought so when he cracks the knee, when she cracks his knee.
That's why the character is named Tonya.
I did think that. I was
of
like,
course. Yeah.
I wonder what's happening
And
here.
who's the voice actor for Tonya, Sean?
It should be Tara Strong.
It is Tara Strong.
I did think so. She's good at voicing those little brats, isn't she? Amongst many others. She's like the hardest fucking the hardest working voice actor around.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this also, I should know this. It's one of my, I love this film. Also, the plot loosely follows City Lights, which was a Charlie Chaplin film. It's where Charlie's a tramp, and of course, and he falls in love with a poor blind flower street vendor and convinces her that he is rich and handsome. Upon hearing of a doctor that can cure her blindness, he is initially unwilling to tell her of the discovery. Blah 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 blah. Yeah,
Nice.
But actually, weirdly, hearing that the two plots are based on two classic things does improve the episode.
I love
for me
this because
slightly.
I'm in love with this episode.
I thought it's my favorite Bender where he's just being like a little bitch. But then he's got a kind of a worthy rival, rather. Mm-hmm. And he's not just being a little bitch for no reason. It's really nice for him to kind of get his comeuppance and have him face down a worthy foe. So I really like the use of Bender in this episode because usually I'm a bit on the fence about Bender in general. But he's not just being a little bitch because he has a worthy rival, and it's nice for him to kind of face up against someone who can go toe-to-toe with him. If you pardon the tap dance pun.
Oh.
Is that a tap? Yeah, I guess
Shut
it
up,
is.
Chris.
Fair enough.
Hey, no bullying in the workplace.
You know what? You would be a good adversary for Bender, Ellen.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm Fry in a lot of these situations where I'm like, okay, bye.
Bye. Have fun killing that little girl with a heart condition.
Hey, yeah, that is evil. Bye, Ellen.
I'm sorry, that bit at the end where like he literally dances on her corpse. I have dead girl, ? And then after you start dancing on her, I have Jesus written. Because I was just like, this is horrific.
Sorry, Jesus isn't coming back this year.
I could not have been happier to put a name down on my death tally. I was gleefully adding her to the death
Sean
tally
was so
list.
ready.
And then when he tapped dance, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna fucking jumpstart her hard, isn't she? God damn it, take her off the list.
Yeah.
I mean, she was technically dead for a few moments.
Yeah, I count it.
Do you
Death
count
tally
it?
1.
Death calories.
Death
Death tally 0, but there's eraser smudges and where you've put down the line and then rubbed it out.
Well, here's the thing. Did the doctor, what's her name? She declared her as dead.
Yeah,
so she declared her as
called it.
dead. Yeah, she
That's
called
true.
it.
Okay, so one death and then one resurrection.
Yeah.
Or the death tally itself, the unit, is dead.
Oh no.
as in the death tally units itself died.
We can't deal with that.
I'd rather that instead of like starting up the resurrection tally, because then only Calculon and this girl is on that list.
No, and all of the cast when they were resurrected at the beginning of season 6.
Correct. Fuck.
Oh, jeez.
Resurrection tally.
tally.
No.
Mr. Phil, sir, do you have any bender functions today besides, well, I don't know.
Being a shit.
Well, I just liked how Fry called it his tube leg. I just really like that. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
What happened to your tube leg?
It's quite good. Does he do
It's
anything else?
accurate. It's what it is.
No,
I mean, he can temp dance on his fingers.
That's
that's
a
true.
function.
He can resurrect little girls.
Bender's talents.
Yes.
Oh yeah, he can perform CPR.
He does have a gun at one point. I guess that's a function of him.
Yes.
He also has the talent for like.
I mean, I feel like Ellen is going to have more fun with Bender in this episode than I did.
Fashion corner.
Wink.
I hate fedoras, so
It's not a fedora. It's a trilby.
I love them. Fuck you. I'm taking Fashion Corner away from you. You
come
are
back.
incorrect.
Second to last episode, and you've lost all your fashion corner privileges.
I just thought, I don't know, like the hat's kind of cool, but the fun thing about tap dancing in most dance performances is you get to see the pizzazz, you know? Like, it would be nice if he had done something a bit more special than just slap on a hat. Keep in mind, I mean, it is a blue sparkly hat, which I guess is kind of cool.
That might have won Randy over if he'd gone all out with the outfit.
That's what I think. I mean, like, because the fun thing is a dancer is all about the composition of the body, right? So you're all trying to hit those shapes, those lines, those points.
I'm learning things.
No, we're all professional dancers here.
Oh, yes. We're doing it right now.
I did ballet for a long time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you have good turnout.
Yes, I have
Wait,
great
what?
turnout.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
When we were at acting school, I had the dance instructor come in and he was like, "You have excellent turnout." Well, you did. And I was like, "Yep."
Jesus.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dance teachers be like that. Fucking
Yeah, they do.
brutal.
That's why I don't do dance anymore.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, I just thought it'd be cool if Bender had something a bit flashy for his reveal. I really loved Zoidberg's little lilac bow tie, which he puts on before his date. I think it's very special. It looks really nice on him. I don't know, it just contrasts nicely against the kind of the red and you know, it doesn't pull too much focus, but it's a nice little accessory.
As someone who owns a purple bow tie, I agree.
Yeah, it's nice. I don't think. Shit, what's her name? Marianne?
Marianne?
Yeah.
Marianne.
I like her kind of 50s off the shoulder pink little cardigan. And she's got like a kind of high-waisted blue, it looks like a denim skirt. It's very simple, but it's kind of like a somewhat retro throwback look. She's also got very nice hair. It's kind of like the soft curls of it look a lot like they remind me a lot of Ariel when they move around.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it for Fashion Corner. I mean, she looks pretty cute in a garbage a sanitation worker outfit as well.
Yeah, but who doesn't?
Well, yeah.
What about the entrance to the tap dancing competition? So there's like
Oh, the other
there's
three other performers?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you've got the blob monster. He doesn't wear anything, does he?
No.
He just
No.
He
just
puts on
has some
shoes
rather
later.
nice brown shoes.
There's is his name Greg with the many legs?
Oh, yeah, Greg with the many legs.
Like, kind of a boring outfit. It's just kind of like a tank top and shorts and many leg warmers.
He looks, he's like got the basketball thing happening, doesn't he?
Petunia later on wears a little tuxedo, a little kind of jazz performer tuxedo, which is nice, yeah.
She's got a Judy Garland thing going throughout.
Yeah, which would have been cool. Like, Bender could have easily put it. I know he's got a tux somewhere. He could have fucking thrown it on for his big performance, but...
He left it with the Penguins.
Yeah, something to remember him by. Yeah, that's it for Fashion Corner. Wink.
Wonk. Oops. I mean,
Did you
wait.
say wonk?
I did say wonk. I mean...
You wonked when you should have winked, Chris.
Damn it. All my vowels are wrong.
Can any of you guys think of moments where you have you have right there and then decided that this is your new dream, and despite like you've just gone for a completely new talent, completely assured that you would be the best at it. I think of podcasting.
I don't think I've ever entered into anything where I thought I was going to be any good. And then I'm always pleasantly surprised when I am reasonably good. This makes me the most insecure theatre director ever.
For me, it was probably roller derby. Like, I didn't start out that great, but I was really fast. And I was like,
Zippy?
that's cool, as long as I can kind of keep this up. And then, you know, as long as I've got this speed already, then you just learn the skills, which, you know, anyone can kind of do. But yeah, it's hard to take to things when I'm not initially good at them. At least having a kind of leaning or inclination towards it.
Phil, what about you?
I think that kind of happened with me with acting. I was like, I didn't really do it in high school. And then when I was at uni, there was a few, you know, productions being put on. And I was like, oh yeah, that might be a fun thing to do. And then I did one. I was like, I can smash this. This is great. I'll do more of this.
There is one that I had that where after I did one, I was like, yeah, I'm good at this. I can do more of this. Was when I played video games professionally for a while.
Oh,
when I won my first LAN tournament, I was like, oh shit, I can play video games professionally.
And what was the name of a little girl who you destroyed?
Her name was
knees.
Sarah. I got up in her face and she was like 10 or 12, and I was like, suck it, Sarah, you bitch. That may or may not have happened.
That may have ended your career.
I think it started it as all the bros were like, yeah. Gaming culture is toxic. I should have broken her legs.
Oh my God, Chris.
I shouldn't say that on a recording. It's going to be replayed sometime.
Yeah.
And when you said you should have broken her legs.
20 or 30 minutes into a comedy podcast. What did you mean?
Jesus
I
Christ.
got to say, all in all, I just realized because this is the second to last episode, did they just totally give Zoidberg a nice ending?
They did. I was really like waiting for the other shoe to fall like at any point, because I'm like, this is not going to stay. This is like, you know, nothing ever good happens to Zoidberg ever. Like, and most kind of
without it being immediately taken away.
Yeah, and most love interests in the show who aren't already characters never stay.
No. It's the sitcom thing of like, you know, everyone has to reset back to the start.
Yeah, except for our two romantic interests.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really unexpected. I was really, really waiting for some kind of reveal.
That is why I really enjoy this episode, because it is, if you've experienced, like, if you've seen this episode and you rewatch all of Futurama, you know that Zoidberg is going to be okay in the end. Like, you go,
so it's a retroactive thing.
Yeah, it canonizes, it contextualizes everything else. That all of his suffering, all of his pain, all of his, like, yes, he's always, and that makes it funnier because in that moment it's true, but eventually
everything is all
pays
right.
off.
Jesus, sounds like How I Met Your Mother.
Well,
Who's watched 9 episodes of this schmuck, just like fucking his life is just falling apart, and you just
Ted
have to
Mosby Zoidberg
yes.
the hottest
My
take.
favorite thing about that episode as well was that it was nice to Zoidberg. That's what stopped me outright hating it. Like, I didn't think it was. I didn't have an unpleasant time with the episode. I just didn't think it was particularly special. But Zoidberg being one of my favorite character, having him be gently gifted a happy ending by the writers is like, yeah, you guys know that Zoidberg's all right too. It gives you that permission that the writers and the show feels the same way about Zoidberg ultimately that the audience does.
And he's not. He's got most of the funny things in this episode, I think, come from Zoidberg. Like him cutting through his arm.
I forgot I was a crab.
I laughed. I forgot I was a giant crab. Makes me laugh so much. I really,
that one really got me.
really lost my shit. But it's nice having him be the kind of, I mean, Sean, you already said, like the Charlie Chaplin tramp character. I mean, he literally is a tramp.
Yeah. And he has played that role before.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that kind of his unassuming, kind of kind persistence is really nice to kind of follow throughout an episode.
I also like the language in this episode. There's a great play on words. I've never met someone who wanted to smell so badly, which I was just like, that's clever. That's good. That's really lovely writing. Fantastic. I love that. And the Fry comment of when Bender calls him Orange Joe. I thought that was really funny.
Or,
No, Farnsworth calls him Orange Joe.
Farnsworth calls him Orange Joe. Sorry, you're right.
Or Zoidberg describing to Marianne how he smells, and she goes, "That's terribly vivid."
Yeah.
Emphasis on the terribly.
Winter covered in gravy, I think, is a great line.
The first explanation is so sweet. It's like summer with like vanilla and honey.
Yeah.
Or winter with gravy.
Two very different smells.
I don't think it's when Zoidberg's talking about what he's worried about if she gets her sense of smell back, and it's either Amy or Fry that comes back with, "Oh yeah, you're worried that she'll be driven to madness by a mind-altering stench."
Mind-altering. It's like he's an eldritch horror.
I mean, kind of.
There are a couple of they do visualize it really really strongly in the episode when he lifts his arms and it scares off who does it, what's his name?
Randy?
Marianne?
No.
Oh, Randy. What?
Oh,
No.
Roberto.
Roberto.
That's
Fuck, my favorite
what I can
character.
think of. With his some kind of, it's a bayonet.
Also,
Yeah, they
the
visualize it
Geneva
really strongly,
Convention.
but I thought there was some really nice touches. Like there's right at the beginning, the cold open, the beginning where Amy is looking at the picture of Zoidberg's video girlfriend, and she has to turn off the hologram.
Yeah, and she stumbles
She
with the
can't
button.
look away, so she just reach for it with her hand because she's so horrified.
Also,
It's a really nice moment.
The reveal as well that they're all there in the conference room. Because we just have him, doing the holocall and talking to this sweetheart of his, and then you just pan out and they're all squished to the other side of the conference table, listening in on this romantic little talk the two of them have.
As Chris was saying, there's some really nice lines as well. Like his stench is described as it's like Comic-Con in a submarine.
I was going to say that one. That's one of a delightfully evocative smell set.
Self-aware.
That's vivid.
line.
Yeah, it's very pungent.
I think everybody got that one as soon as they said,
I quite like the direction in this episode. The rule of three being used for on their dates when they go to the two smelly places. I honestly can't remember. Oh, they're eating smelly cheese.
They're at
Yep.
the discount petting zoo with the skunks.
And the discount petting zoo. And then the third rule of three is when they're walking in the park and it's
Scenic New Jersey.
Scenic New Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that's and the shot of it is beautifully timed. It's the right amount of lingering. There's a lot of cutaway pull out jokes where in the first instance it's them listening to the conference call. There's the cheese joke. I can't remember the actual punchline of it, but the Scenic New Jersey one is where so they pull out and it's it looks like a regular hamburger store or something like that, and then it's and then when they walk across, it's the New Jersey part is obscured when the shot opens, and then they move across the frame, and then you see the Scenic New Jersey. There's lots of that in this episode. I just think it's so fucking good.
Yeah, even as you're pulling out at the end of the episode, and Marianne and Zoidberg are driving off in the dumpster truck, you see the kind of debris, the waft of debris follow them, and you pull out, and then a can from the dump fells out already on the ground. What's her name? The old woman.
Oh.
The one who calls everything.
Petunia?
No. The one who calls it
not-
a kajibit or whatever.
Oh, Hattie McDougal.
Hattie McDougal, yeah, because she's already on the ground writhing in pain. And then you just see the can bonk her on the head one
Wang her
last
on the
time.
head. Yeah, I
It's
love that.
nice.
I didn't see that. That's awesome. Well, I have to bring up that there's lovingly animated in the episode several passionate make-out scenes between Zoidberg and Marianne.
Must you?
I just wanted to know what your opinions on that were.
I've got those screenshotted and on my computer for reasons.
Do we not all deserve
the way his
love?
tentacles reach out or pat her. Oh my god!
I'm trying to imagine, you feeling slobbery wetness that extends about halfway up my cheeks all the way, and would kind of engulf my nose as well. I was trying to imagine what that would feel like.
I feel like it's when a dog licks your face.
But if the dog's
Oh yeah.
Had 5
enveloped
tongues.
tongues.
How good do you think Zoidberg would be at oral?
Now there's another question.
Ooh.
Sean, what were you saying? Can't think of anything else.
I feel like these are the hard-hitting questions we need to address.
You like having me on this podcast, don't you?
I would prefer it. I would prefer it over Zoidberg's hand job.
Oh!
It's a very good answer.
You're a genius. That's fucking hilarious, Sean. Well done. That is potentially the funniest bit you've ever done on this podcast, and I'm so glad.
I can't listen to this
That
anymore.
was fucking incredible.
So, on that note,
Zoidberg's a sex machine.
what I feel we'll do is this sounds like the perfect point to take it down to the vote. And what we'll actually do is whatever notes you guys have, please feel free to put them into your... I'm going to come out swinging, so I'll start. And because we're looking at the current winner, which is Murder on the Planet Express, which toppled the multi-time champion, Free Will Hunting, against this episode, which is Stench and Stenchibility. And I'm actually going to straight up put up one on the tally for Stench and Stenchibility. And it's very simple. Kind of similar to Free Will Hunting, I've realized that I'm quite happy for it not to be an episode that gives everyone something to do. Like, one of the strengths of Murder on the Planet Express was that everyone had a lot to do. Like, they really spread out the cast and utilized everyone to their fullest potential. This one, like, we see it a lot more in the second series, where Zoidberg gets to be the protagonist a lot more, and he's more than happy to step up to the task, so to speak, and he really captures your attention and can really hold a narrative the entire time. But it's also held up by Emilia Clarke, who is an amazing guest star. Like, even just her coming up with you guys are weird. And she's such an endearing character that the two of them, I love it. I also am really on board with the B plot, which is Bender at his most horrific, but it's also Bender at his most vindicated. I was rooting for Bender in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that little girl. I wanted her to stay dead.
Wow, Sean, listen to yourself.
We're going to clip that and put it later.
All of these.
And I'm more than happy for that to stay in the edit. Those are my feelings about the character. So keep that's, and like I've got a whole bunch of things here. And I'll just, like, Pilates Nazis. The fact that Marianne asked to kiss Zoidberg. Actually asked permission before she did.
Consent is key.
Consent is key. And you know what? You guys will probably fill out the rest when you do talk about them. So that's me, Stench and Stenchibility.
Phil, what about you?
So I'll go next because I think no one's going to be surprised, and then we leave the mystery to you guys. For me, it's definitely Murder on the Planet Express. I just think the plot is it's like a better piece of writing, and therefore it's more entertaining to me because of the way it has the constant reveals, works in all the characters, and parodies its source material. It just feels very cohesive and clever, and it just tickles me in all the right spots. Whereas this one, I do like, my opinion on the B plot is pretty poor, really. I think it doesn't really cover any new ground with Bender. It's sort of a new situation, and they almost kind of lampshade it with him being so arbitrarily insistent that he's going to be the champion. They're always like, haha, it's Bender doing a Bender thing again. And for me, that just meant that plot was really just sort of taking away from what I was enjoying about the episode, which is a good, wholesome Zoidberg humor. And for me, that's why for me, it felt like a third of the episode wasn't as strong. And the Murder on the Planet Express is more of a complete package. The one thing I would like to point out is Nurse Amy in this episode. She has like a giant oval cut out in the back of her nurse's uniform, which is slightly odd, probably not very hygienic. And she also has like a beam cannula that I thought was really fun, where she's like going to inject it into Marianne's arm, and instead it just goes bzzz, and she's asleep.
So that's me. That's one on the board for Stench and one on the board for Murder. Ellen.
Me, I'll go. I'm going to be joining Phil in my vote because I really did enjoy Stench and Stenchibility. I thought it had a lot of great visual gags. There were a lot of really funny moments. Like I said, it was a good use of your Bender, and seeing a sweeter side of Zoidberg was really kind of wonderful and wholesome. However, I was just kind of waiting for the whole thing to be tied together. That was like the one thing, like the whole episode, I was just like, when are these going to intersect, or what's the common factor here? Or, you know, you even had, I thought there was going to be a bit, we did have Bender come in for surgery, but it's like we've got 2 instances of surgery. I thought maybe there was going to be a kind of clever little twist there. But I was just kind of like, while I loved this episode, just at the end, I was like, oh, it's over. And while I did really like Amelia Clarke as a character, I feel like she's trying her best with, I know it's a caricature or it's based on, you know, the blind flower seller, but I just thought it was a bit too easy for a romance where it's like, oh, it's this lovely, sweet, somewhat put upon poor young girl. And I know it's a homage to characters past, but I just thought, that's a bit easy. Anyone would love her. Like, why is she a good match for Zoidberg just because she's can't smell? You know, I wanted something, maybe they're a bit gross together, or maybe they both like theatre, or I don't know. I just wanted to see more how this couple works as opposed to, they're just both sweet, which is like anyone can be sweet. But yeah, there were a lot of really fucking funny bits. Crab Cakes as a pet name, very, very cute. Love that. Unused these flowers are unused is just so, your heart goes out to him. I love how Zoidberg is, I've just written Zoidberg is me at work. And I believe that's in regards to the mugging thing.
Oh, yeah.
When
I've got nothing to live for.
Yeah, I've got nothing to live for. Hey, fuck you. Yes. It is a wonderful episode. It's a really lovely episode, a wonderful, sweet episode. But I just thought Murder was the pacing felt a lot better to me. It was nice to have one thing to focus on and it just to be overall a bit tighter.
Mm-hmm. Chris?
I'm going to tie it up. I'm going for Stench and Stenchibility. I have a lot of joyful memories of this episode.
You were talking about this a lot. Sorry, just because I know you talked about it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. This episode, part of the advantage of me having watched all of these episodes is that part of a selection criteria that I have is that I can, it's whether or not I remember the episode from the past or not. And that is this one to a T. I remember it a lot. The jokes, the moments in it are distinct and memorable to me. I also think it's very, very funny. I agree with both Ellen and Phil that the major narrative isn't as clearly defined, and as the stickler for that generally, this is a little bit out of character for me, but I think the comedy is, the line-to-line comedy is top-notch in this one.
Chris, you're just a big softie, aren't you?
I am a big softie. A young roach-infested Gene Kelly is fucking hilarious. Again, like, I've got to buy your most beautiful and cheap flowers for a lady who is one of those things is like just very good. Even if it's not good for my pacemaker, putting rusty tacks in her shoes, the gun to try and kill her. The fact that Bender goes so evil in this episode, and his payoff is that he saves a life, hates that he does, and then finds joy in the fact that they are both evil together. You know, that's the thing that brings that narrative together.
Yeah, irredeemably evil, he calls her.
Fucking evil. Dancing on a dead child is like the most evil. But I think
It's pretty evil.
that this is an episode which the strength of it is in the canon of the show. That if, like I alluded to earlier, this is a show that if you watch Futurama once and then you see this episode and you rewatch it again and you see all of the horrible stuff that goes on with Zoidberg, and it's the second to last episode in a show that ends, this is his kind of payoff, his ending, his narrative ending.
It's his series finale.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to talk.
Swan song.
It is his swan song. I don't want to talk too much about the next episode because that gives spoilers for you guys who haven't seen it yet. But for me, this is right for the second to last episode.
Yeah.
And so it goes to Stench and Sensibility for me.
So This
What do we
is
do?
unprecedented, and I already had a solve in my back pocket just in case this was how we ended up.
This is precedented, though. We have had
We
this
have
before.
done this before.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
but
Yeah.
not what I'm about to say.
Oh, great. Beautiful.
Yes, because the unprecedented point of this is we don't have a way to shore it up. And so what we have to do is there are joint champions that will both be coming in next week. And the final episode of our gauntlet has Murder on the Planet Express versus Stench and Stenchibility versus Meanwhile in a three-way triple threat battle royale for the title of
Holy
season
shit.
7.
It's like one of those wrestling matches where it's a...
It is a cage match. It's a fucking cage match.
Shit.
Sean, you know how I said earlier that it was one of your funniest jokes? This is one of your best ideas.
Yes.
Other than coming up with the concept of the podcast. This is easily one of your best ideas. I love
Saving
it.
it for the end.
And it's the final 3 episodes. So
That's-
bang, bang, bang. All vying for the attention of 4 Australians that have been doing this for 3.5 fucking years.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
I
that's
love it.
right.
I'm here for it.
We're keen.
So, whew. Go.
We don't know what's happening.
This is like... I was literally watching... I was showing someone a RuPaul's Drag Race lip sync for your life. And it's like one of the fucking best. One of the best. Like, they are giving everything. And it's like unprecedented because neither of them get eliminated. They both stay on like the fucking strength of that lip sync. And I'm just like,
But, like-
when does that ever happen?
Now.
Bitch.
And potentially, I mean, I just thought of a way that it's not the case, but, you know, this should guarantee a winner for next week. Hopefully. Because even if one of us picks all different ones,
Yeah.
the fourth person, of course, then if we still do the 2 and 2 again, then we're fucked. But
That's right.
You know what? That's next week's problem.
Yeah, forget about it.
Kick that down the can. Down the
Yeah.
road. Kick that can down the road. Got there in the end.
So if any of you have been following along since the beginning, we're almost at the end. At this point, next week, you'll be tuning in for Meanwhile, the series finale of the Futurama show that we have been looking at for the past 3 years. But it won't be the end for us.
The future.
Because once that occurs, we then go into the gauntlet phase, which is the epilogue of sorts of the podcast.
That's going to get heated. I just know
The
it.
real meat of our show.
Yes.
We've just been giving you gravy and winter.
Just gravy. What are you going to mop it up with, huh?
Huh? Some flowers? Some stinky flowers? Get into the meat.
Some bugs.
Some crab
Step
meat.
on some
Oh,
bugs.
you know what would... Okay, sorry. You know what would have been nice in this episode? If Zoidberg had given her a corpse flower.
I think that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like a corpse flower.
So we're going into the... What, Sean, do you remember what episodes from each season we're going into?
Yes,
so we
I
can
do.
prime our audience.
Okay, so guys, in season 1, it is When Aliens Attack, the single female lawyer episode. For season 2, it is Mother's Day. For season 3, it is fuck. Season.
He's broken, friends. Season 3 is
It's not Luck of the Friarish.
Is it Roswell?
Yeah, no. It's yes.
This...
It is Roswell that ends well?
Yeah, it's Roswell that ends
Yes.
well. Yeah, Roswell that ends well.
Roswell that ends well.
Because of course it is. Yeah, it's totally Roswell that ends well. And no, it was Godfellas, wasn't it? Oh no.
You know, I'm beginning to regret
no.
asking you this question,
yeah.
Sean.
Well, season 4.
We're really hyping people up.
Season 4 is... See, I had season 4 in my head, and now that I've been flustered over season 3...
Sorry, mate.
Season
it
4 is
The
the Sting!
Sting? Yeah,
The Sting!
The Sting.
Then season 5 is the final movie, which is Into the Wild Green Yonder. Mm-hmm. Season 6 is Steven Sandoval and Josh Weinstein's All the President's Heads.
Oh, God,
right.
it's such a fun episode.
And then season 7 is yet to be determined. And then the 8th pick, which will be a little mini gauntlet where all of us bring our wild card episode, which shores up the brackets into an even number.
We're going to have to go back to season 3 and listen to what that is, right?
Yes, we will.
Okay.
Yes. Unless someone wants to tell
Unless
us.
someone tells us. I mean, you'll have to time travel so that you hear ahead of us, but that's okay.
Who has 10 minutes to go listen to an old episode? I mean,
No, it's Roswell that ends well. It's Roswell that ends
yeah,
well.
I thought it was
yeah.
Roswell.
Yeah.
I thought it was Roswell.
Because I voted for Godfellas, and I must just be trying to get that sneaking
You're
in.
just trying to push your agenda.
You're trying to rewrite history.
Both are fucking fantastic episodes.
So,
Oh, yeah.
and it might sneak into the gauntlet anyway. Who knows?
When Aliens Attack, Mother's Day, Roswell that ends well, The Sting, Into the Wild Green Yonder, All the President's Heads, and To Be Determined. And to be
I love
determined.
that episode.
The wild card winner.
Hey.
And then the wildcard winner. Yeah. Send us emails with your favorite wildcard winners.
Yes, do.
Yeah.
Tell us. Pressure us into thinking episodes are better.
us.
Plead your case.
Fight us.
That's right.
Threaten us.
It's hustings.
Stalk us.
Literally fight us.
Don't do that. Don't stalk us. I mean, actually, if you think I'm cute, you can stalk me.
Hey.
Remain indoors. Remain indoors.
Stalk me online.
Until that time, I have been exasperated Sean.
I've been smelling.
I've been Chris.
Hey, it's Randy. I'm Phil.
And as I've taken to saying, fucking bye.
Fucking bye.
Smell you later.
Visit our Patreon at patreon.com/babybeard. Go to Twitter, Babybeard Media. Go to YouTube, Babybeard Media.
We lost him, Chris.
Facebook,
We lost him.
Babybeard Media. This will just play over the outro. Goodbye, friends. Support us. Help us. We love you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to contact us, you can do so by emailing us at babybeardmedia@gmail.com. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram @babybeardmedia. And if you're looking for a way to support us, the best way you can do it is by jumping onto iTunes or the podcast app and giving us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Goes a long way to helping us. Otherwise, if you'd like to join us next week,
Anyway, I would like to discuss the emotional impact right now
Okay.
because Ellen's ear-splitting laugh,
No.
Sean's strange faces that he can pull, and Chris, your boyish excitement over marbles.
That's true.
all our defining features.
Yes, that's exactly. That's how I think of you, how I will think of you over the next 3 months. Two very distinct sides to you. There's the non-marble Chris. Cynical.
Bitter.
Yes. And then there's
On the cusp of
with
violence
the
at
new
all
Marvel
time.
video.
Yeah.
Not Marvel video.
There's the PM Chris and then the AM Chris.
Is there a thing called the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Not yet.
Oh,
They have to. They have to.
It's a terrible time when both things feed into each other, when Marble Chris turns into Cynical Chris, because you haven't kept up to date with marbles.
Wow, damn, Chris, it's not our thing.
Okay. Bye, sexies.
do we still have Phil here?
Don't send us nudes.
No nudes.